You were born in 2092. By the time you're old enough to ask the right questions, most of the answers will already be gone. This is not a story about flying cars or robot butlers. This is the story of what it actually feels like to be human in 2100. And some of it is not what you'd expect. Let's start with something almost no one mentions when they talk about the future: the night sky. In 2100, the light pollution over every major city is so intense that for billions of people, the Milky Way is something you only see in museums. There's actually a recorded moment from 1994, when an earthquake knocked out power in Los Angeles, and residents panicked. They called emergency services reporting a strange silver cloud in the sky. It was the Milky Way. They had never seen it before. In 2100, that's not a one-night blackout story. That's just Tuesday. You grew up under an orange sky. And the strange thing is, you think it's beautiful. You have no idea what you lost. You've heard of endangered species. But by 2100, the word endangered is from history books. Nearly a third of Earth's species are gone. Not struggling. Gone. Including pollinators. The quiet workers behind almost every fruit and vegetable you eat. This doesn't announce itself with a bang. It announces itself with a grocery store that has fewer options every year. With a silence in forests that used to hum. You don't mourn what you never knew existed. Here's something that will sound insane to you in 2026, but completely normal to someone born in 2092. Some countries on your passport are underwater. The Pacific island nation of Tuvalu, a real place, with real people, with a real culture, has 95% of its land projected to be flooded by 2100. In 2100, there are people carrying passports from nations that are gone. Their country is a memory. Their identity is paperwork. And the question the world hasn't answered yet is, where do those people belong? By 2053, AI is projected to outperform human surgeons. By 2100, letting a human operate on you might actually be considered dangerous. And this extends everywhere. The last human programmer probably graduated around 2060. Not because humans got dumber. Because the machines got faster. And more accurate. And cheaper. In 2100, most jobs aren't done by people. And this isn't a crisis. It's just the system working as designed. The question nobody fully answered before it happened was, what do humans do with their time when their labor is no longer needed? Climate change alone is projected to cut 20% from the global economy by 2100. For context, the Great Depression of the 1930s shrank the US economy by around 30%. Except this time, it's not temporary. It's not a crash with a recovery on the other side. It's the new baseline. And in that world, the gap between the wealthy and everyone else doesn't just widen, it becomes a different species of experience. By 2100, the rich don't just live in bigger houses. They live in better bodies. Neural implants. Genetic upgrades. Life extension treatments. These aren't science fiction in 2100. They're just expensive. If you can't afford them, and most people can't, you are biologically behind. Not metaphorically. Literally. Your unmodified brain processes information slower. Your unmodified body ages faster. Being poor in 2100 doesn't just mean you have less money. It means you are less, in ways that are now measurable. Here's something that quietly disappeared somewhere in the 2060s: retirement. Not officially. Just practically. When people regularly live past 100, when the economy has permanently shrunk, when AI has taken most of the jobs that used to fund pensions. You work. Until you can't. The concept of earning your rest doesn't disappear. It just gets pushed forward. And forward. And forward. The good news, and there is some, is that medicine in 2100 is extraordinary. Organs can be grown to order. Diseases that killed millions in 2025 are managed like seasonal allergies. The record for human longevity, set at 122 years in the 20th century, has almost certainly been shattered. Scientists put the odds of someone reaching 130 this century at around 13%. But here's the quiet tragedy inside all of this. Access to that medicine is not equal. The body that never breaks down belongs to the people who can afford not to break down. Sleep in 2100 is complicated. Scientists in the early 21st century already identified a genetic mutation that allows some people to function on 4 hours of sleep with no side effects. By 2100, with gene editing widely available, at least for those who can pay, this mutation is increasingly common. So in your world, there are people around you who essentially don't sleep the way you do. And there's pressure, social, economic, to become one of them. To optimize. To compress. To not waste time on something as inefficient as 8 hours of unconsciousness. Dreams become rarer. Less of that strange interior life that humans spent millennia not fully understanding but absolutely depending on. Nobody announces when that changes. It just does. This is the question that keeps philosophers in 2100 very busy. If you have a neural implant that connects directly to external memory storage, and that storage is hacked, or deleted, or purchased by someone else, are you still you? If your genetic profile was edited before birth, your height, your disease resistance, maybe your temperament, did you choose to be who you are? If a digital version of you exists, trained on everything you've ever said and thought and done, and it keeps talking after you die, which one of you was real? In 2100, these aren't hypotheticals. They're Tuesday morning conversations. And nobody has agreed on the answers yet. When people live past 100 regularly, family gets strange. Your great-grandmother is still alive. She remembers the first iPhone launch. She and your grandmother and your mother and you are all alive at the same time. For generations, sharing holidays, sharing inheritance, sharing space. Sounds beautiful, right? It mostly is. But it also means grief almost never comes. The old guard doesn't leave to make room. Ideas, power, wealth, they stay concentrated in the hands of people who have been alive since the last century. You don't resent them. They're family. But the world was built for them. And you're still waiting for your turn. Right now, in 2026, a language dies somewhere on Earth every 1 to 3 months. The most pessimistic projections say that 90% of all human languages will be gone within a century. In 2100, that's not a projection anymore. It's history. And here's what most people don't understand about a dead language. It's not just words that disappear. Languages carry entire frameworks for perceiving reality. Ways of categorizing time. Concepts that exist in no other tongue. When a language dies, a way of being human dies with it. In 2100, the world speaks more efficiently than ever. And thinks in fewer colors. There is no darkness in 2100 cities. Not real darkness. Artificial light at night, already one of the fastest growing environmental pollutants in 2026, has, by 2100, reached every corner of every urban center on Earth. And researchers discovered something uncomfortable. Exposure to bright artificial light at night is directly linked to higher mortality risk, to inflammation, to accelerated cognitive decline, to depression and Alzheimer's. In 2100, people live longer. And the light that fills their nights may be quietly making their minds pay the price. In 2100, silence is a product. In megacities of 20, 30, 40 million people, noise is constant. Traffic. Construction. Delivery systems. The ambient hum of a civilization that never stops. Real silence, the kind that lets a thought fully form, is sold as a premium experience. Silence retreats. Acoustic isolation pods. Noise-free zones available by subscription. The rich buy quiet. Everyone else learns to think in noise. The future was supposed to be more connected. And in some ways it is. You can talk to anyone anywhere, instantly. But the work that gave people structure, the office, the shift, the field, the shop, is largely gone. The third places that used to gather communities, bars, churches, local shops, have been replaced by optimized digital equivalents. And the result is a generation that has more contact than any in history, and more loneliness. Not the dramatic, cinematic loneliness. The quiet kind. The kind where you go a whole day without a conversation that required you to be fully present. So, your life as a human in 2100. Longer than any human life in history. More medically sophisticated. More connected. More optimized. And also, quieter in ways that hurt. Darker in ways you can't see. Lonelier in ways nobody has a word for yet. The people of 2100 are not miserable. Most of them are fine. That's almost the most unsettling part. They adapted. Humans always adapt. But here's the question I want to leave you with, and I want you to sit with it, not answer it. When we adapt to losing something, do we mourn it? Or do we just forget it was ever there? Like a child who has never seen a star. Looking up at an orange sky. And thinking, how beautiful.